I want to get to the point of racism once again because I think this is an idea that is wildly popular, and it's scary popular, because I cannot understand why this for me is an irrational thought. Why can you suddenly hate a community, a group of people, generalize it based on, well, mainly smearing from other people? And you have, and the kind of thing that I really hate the most, because yesterday I made a video, I'm sorry it was in Portuguese, so that's why I'm talking about it again in English. I made a video about one of these smear cases, generally about an immigrant. This happened in the region where I live. There are a lot of immigrants, and the reason for that is that these multinational enterprises that produce berries, you know, the red berries and the blue berries and all these myrtillos and shit, they produce those and they export them in high quantities to the Northern European people who have taste for these fruits because they are convinced they are very healthy and all that shit. But most of these fruits they need a lot of labor, and so therefore they could never find the amount of labor, the quantity of people that they need in the region where they went to work, which is my region, which is a sparsely populated region. Of course, these are capitalist enterprises. They are greedy. They want maximum profit and least amount of pay for their workers. So they go far, instead of paying more to attract, for example, Portuguese, they go far away to the poorest countries in the world to recruit these people, and with the promise of setting a foot in Europe, having a better life, they go to the Bangladesh, for example, which has a lot of people in extreme, almost extreme poverty. It's very poor. So they promise them, they pay, they get money, they pay so they can come back. They are trafficked. Yeah, and all that, you know, human trafficking. This is nothing new, right? But then the people, this particular case was some extreme right-wing guy that belongs to a extreme right political force in Portugal, and I'm laughing because of the guy is black, right? And he's spreading hate against immigrants and he published the picture of a check paid by the Social Security of about 900 euros, and it doesn't say anything. The check only says the name of the guy there, the amount of money, and the town of residence. And this guy publishes it and says with the comment, there goes another batch or another subsidy for the western coast of Alentejo, which is the region where I live. Like, can you see the hatred that this carries? And the problem with that, it's a rather stupid and basic message, right? But the problem was it got viral. It got like 3,200 shares on Facebook. And hateful comments, just dozens and dozens, hundreds of hateful comments. And people sharing, outraged. So I was outraged myself by the publication. So I decided to make a video in Portuguese, and asking why do they know what the check was, what it was being paid for? Because Portuguese Social Security It's not known to be for being generous. We're not talking about Swedish social security or Finnish social security. You do have a minimum pay that you get from the government even if you don't have any work or any other kind of income. But no one can live on this. No one can live on this. It's like 130 euros a month. It's ridiculous. And they keep accusing these people, and if he was receiving from Social Security, it was for certain subsidy which is legal, which has to belong to a certain category, right? It has to be a reason, a legitimate reason for that. But people act like it's a crime. For example, you work and then you get sick, so you are entitled to get some money when you are sick, because you need to live. It's basic. We don't know. It was about the amount was about 911 euros. What a fortune. And we don't know that amount. We don't know the length of time which this amount corresponded. It could be about 2 or 3 months of pay. People don't know, but it just shared the hate. And this is what got me sick. And when I see people that I know sharing this, doing the same, it's like replicating like a virus, I get outraged, because they are not only violating the privacy of someone. I don't know how did they get this check, or if it's a fake picture, forged picture. It just plays into this mindset, this very caveman mindset, that you have to be very dumb to fall for, right? Or mean. You have to have a lot of hate in you to pick these guys as victims, right? Normally this right-wing populism, they are very strong and very brave with the weak, against the weak, and very weak against the strong, right? It's typical. This very, I forgot the word again, very little-minded. And so, but this is only an example, and this happens, and a lot of times they smear videos or pictures. They, for example, take a shot of a video of it can be like 10 seconds, people that has some extra color on their skin, involved in a scene of violence, and that it's acceptable. Of course they can be criminals like any other person. That's not the point. The point is that they take that and they apply it to the whole universe of migrants. So the message they spread is all migrants are like this. It's like a plague that we have to get rid of, even if we have to resort to violent means. We have to strip them of all their human rights. They are not human, they don't deserve, because look at them, they come to our country to commit crime. And the funny thing is that statistics say that there is no relation, at least in Portugal, in the area where I live, there is no relation between that. They cannot establish that relation between the crime and the influx of these immigrants that come to work. Many of them. And there's a lot more to be said about this. This is the worst that the human being has, right? It's the worst of it. But there are forces who want to spread this. With what purpose? Control? Maybe. I don't really know. I don't like to live in a society like this. I get quite angry inside when I see people that I know that are actually good people, because I know them, I know their everyday lives. They're good people in the community, and they fall for this hate. because they are genuinely afraid. And it's up to us to distinguish this, because look, race has nothing to do with this violent behavior or crime or anything. It's all about class. Memorize this, please. It's all about class. It's not race, it's not gender, it's not anything. It's class. It's rich against poor. Simple as this. You got a child, whatever culture he has, because one of the arguments is that they do not adapt to our culture. Many of these guys don't know their own culture. They are stupid as doors, stupid as bricks. They haven't read a book in their lives. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They can't write without making fucking typos every sentence. So, and they like to be proud and the flag and all that, you know, all that shit, that stupid pride, stupidity pride. But actually they are the ones who ignore their own culture, the real culture. They ignore their writers, their historians, their everything. Anyway, so you get a person from anywhere, any culture at all. You raise them in another given culture, and voila, you have a person just like that. I mean, you have many examples in America. I mean, look at the faces of the people. You have Europeans, you have Asians, you have Africans, but they've been living there for generations now. They have this USA culture. That's plain simple, right? It's the same here. The kids of these migrants from Bangladesh and India, they go to Portuguese schools. They will be as Portuguese as any Portuguese. They will absorb the goods and the bads of our society. And this is how it's done. It's integration. If you have a shitty society, of course many of them will be shitty too. They will not have enough opportunities. They will feel segregated. They will fall into crime. They will do all kinds of shit. I mean, this is not new. So I don't really understand. And then you cannot forget that the majority of these people actually give huge contribution to social security balanced, right? Huge profit to social security. So I don't really know what the fuss is about. But I see that the most vulnerable people are being the targets, while the fucking rich, the ones that do all the shit, the ones that degrade your pay, degrade all your conditions for more and more profit, they are the ones who always get away with it. And then they point the finger. Of course they don't do it directly. This is done by sophisticated means and a lot of useful idiots in the process. So guys, sorry I have to say, I have to go there and do some shit. And I really hope I see you on the next one. So I'm continuing on the topic. And it's a bit of annoying to have to talk about this, but this seems to be, it should be common sense, right? And I do know that a lot of people that easily fall for this, like they are not bad people. How do I distinguish if they are good or bad people? Right? You have to have some moral compass. Well, they are people who live, let's say, normal lives, working people, honest. They help their fellow man if needs be. But they act like this out of fear. The fear spreads like a disease in the messages of these groups, and they know this. This is psychology, and this is old tricks, old playbook, right? And the right, I know the right loves this. Of course, the left, and when I have to make a distinction between the right and left, because I'm doing this video in English. But for example, if you are from the US, your left has nothing to do with my left. Your left in my country is right wing. I mean, simple as this. And I can make in the future a video about this and why don't have anything to do with it. So when we're talking about right and left, I'm a left-wing person, and I do not identify with the majority of the talking points of the American so-called left-wing, right? These liberals, and the liberals in Portugal are right-wing. They are in favor of deregulating the working rules and the laws that protect the workers, all that. So no, I'm not going to go into that now. But the right loves to divide the society using religion, using so-called culture and identity, which I don't really understand, especially if you are a Portuguese. There are no such thing as pure Portuguese. It doesn't exist. But the thing is that this is very narrow-minded thinking, and this creates the image that they appeal to the memories of a lot of people, but the memories of a lot of people are nothing in comparison with the history of the country where they live in. And a lot of people think, oh, things are changing now. When I was little, none of this happened. But their lifespan is very short, and then they don't learn history, because if they did, they would learn that this territory had always been a territory of migrations. We do have a lot of words in our vocabulary that come from the Arab, for example. Our number system comes from the Arab, and a lot of things, for example, agriculture products that we now think they are ours because we always have seen them and eat them throughout the whole of our lives, which seems a long time, but it's nothing. So we don't even realize that all of this wording in our vocabulary and grammar come from other cultures. We are a mix of cultures, and the more cultures that have traveled this land, the richer we are. I mean, potato is a very common thing, but you wouldn't have this if it hadn't come from America, right? The American continent. Sweet potato, same thing. And I can like throw a number of things and words that begin in al, like the very famous province of Algarve. A lot of Arab influence, of course. We have also Roman influence even from before, and a lot of other influences. I mean, this territory has always been a territory of many peoples, right? And these guys, they have lived in this country, some of them like 20 years. They were born 20 years ago, and they think they have some kind of pure breed that they belong to, that what they call their culture. I can never figure out what it is. What is your culture? You listen to American music made in the USA. You dress clothes made in China. You don't know your history. What is the culture you are so proud of? Okay, maybe history-wise, you were told like 2 or 3 facts, and for that, and for you, that's the Bible. Oh, the Portuguese had an empire, some shit like this. How do we fight this? How do we fight this? It's annoying. It's worrying. It destroys relationships, right? Sometimes you get along with a person, and then you get together for a beer someday, and they start talking like this. these guys, these people here, and what are you gonna do? Create enemies all around you? It's really a disease. It's a mind disease, and it's been intentionally planted to sow division. And I'm not. And when I speak like this, I am sure that some of these morons will think that, oh, he's all pro-immigrants. He doesn't care about his own. He only cares about the immigrants. This is also a very common argument that these people like to make, because immediately if you are tearing apart their stupid ideas, they immediately turn to you and smear you, right? This says nothing about my own, their own, anything. I have worked in other countries. I've worked abroad. I have friends in other countries. I'm from Southern Europe. I've been a lot of times in Northern Europe. I've studied. I've made this like Erasmus program when I was younger in Finland. There were some racists there. I do remember people turning to me and saying, I don't like foreigners. You know, like the Finnish, some Finnish speak English like they are robots. But then they were the least intelligent ones. It has to say something about your intelligence if you can easily fall for this talk. Look, criminality, and a lot of studies reveal this, criminality comes from inequality, comes from segregation, comes from people marginalizing other people. You feel that you don't have the same opportunities, you feel that you struggle and you suffer all the same, you don't get anywhere, while you see others with abundant opportunities and abundant everything. You see a law enforcement authorities that does not respect you. You will grow up. It's a probability. It's not like exact science. There are big probabilities if you are subject to all this inequality in every aspect of your life. There are higher probabilities that you become an outcast of the society, a criminal, whatever. Depends on how you react to this. So you need to strive for a better balanced society. Society that shares the fruits of labor more evenly. Right? This is what the right wing and this fucking liberals and Milton Friedman followers fail to understand. There was a couple of days ago an economist from Brazil. She was Portuguese. She was born in Portugal, and then she left for Brazil to run away to escape the dictatorship in Portugal. She studied there. She became a referenced economist there. And she had this quote that if you are an economist but you don't give a shit about the social aspect of it, the human aspect of it, you're not an economist, you're a technocrat. An economy should be on behalf of the people of a certain society, of the society. Not just focus on numbers, and then if you fail to achieve this number, you are nothing. This puts a huge stress on people. And again, talking about crime and economy, of course, rich people that don't suffer marginalization, don't suffer this kind of lack of opportunities, they also commit crimes. But that's another aspect. But numbers, the trend doesn't show that. Of course they commit crimes. Most of them legal crimes. The others that are not legal is simply because their parents were too obsessed with their business and they weren't bothered with giving them proper moral compass and proper education. This is my opinion, of course. Okay, guys. Now it's the second time I'm gonna say in this video, but I really hope to see you on the next one. Look, as you can see throughout all my videos, My numbers are far from great. Still, I have this hard head. I keep doing this because I enjoy doing it. I like doing it, and I'm not a prostitute for likes. Likes are good. Of course, if you are speaking and you intend to speak to an audience, the bigger the audience, of course you feel good about yourself. But I will never give up on doing this because I don't have enough numbers. That being said, for the third time, I hope I see you on the next one. Bye bye.